is going to sound really mean, but I'm just going to tell you this story time anyway. So I used to have this friend, I'm going to call her Rebecca, and me and her were both 18. Every other weekend, my daughter would go to her dad's house. So every other weekend, I had a free weekend. I would have rather have been at home with my daughter, but she had to see her dad. Now, every now and then, I would have like these gatherings at my house. I'd just invite some friends over for some drinks. The thing is, when Rebecca was 2, her grandfather died. And when she was 7, her grandma died. Now, me personally, I didn't ever really know my grandparents. I never met my mum's parents. They're both dead. And my dad's parents, I hadn't seen since I was 6 or 7. They're both dead too. So I don't really know what it's like to be close to grandparents and have that bond with them and have that grief when they pass away. But even though I haven't felt it, I do know it's a very real thing. And I feel for anyone that has gone through that. But Rebecca was 18. And what would happen is every time I would have drinks in my house, she would drink way more than what she should have. Like, I know my limits. And me, even when I get too drunk, I've never been one of those girls that when she drinks too much, cries or gets angry. I just become really giggly, to be honest. But Rebecca was the type of girl that if she drank too much, she would end up crying. And she would always cry about her grandparents and how much she missed them. Now, I don't want to be a horrible person like, oh, it was 11 years ago, get over it. Because like I said, I have no idea what it's like to be that close to somebody and lose them. Like, I'm sure the grief does never go away. But she never spoke about her grandparents unless she was drunk. And of course, what would happen is because she'd be crying in the bathroom at my house, because she's my friend, I felt it was my responsibility to cheer her up. But there was no cheering her up. She had drank so much, she'd be crying the whole night. And selfishly, it kind of ruined my night. I'm just going to say it. I know it makes me sound like a really horrible person. I know, but like it would ruin my night. I'm just going to say it. Because I couldn't then be a host to my other friends. There'd be like 20 people at the house. But I'd have to spend all my time with her, making sure she was okay. And then one day I sort of suggested that maybe if this is how she becomes when she drinks, maybe she shouldn't drink that much. Normally, I would never tell a woman how much she can and can't drink, but I don't want to see my best friend crying either. It weren't just about, I know I just made it sound like it was all about ruining my night, but it was also, I didn't like seeing my friend upset. And it was happening every single time. But she got really upset when I was like, maybe just don't drink until you cry. Maybe just drink, get to your happy place, like I do, and then just stop. Just take a break, and then when it starts to wear off, top up. Every time. And then one time I was just like, listen, after the 20th time in a row, I was like, do you know what? I'm just not going to deal with this tonight. She's cried 20 times in a row at 20 of my parties, my gatherings. Just one night, I'm not going to be there for her. And I felt really bad. It killed me not to do it. But I was like, I have to. She didn't talk to me for 2 months over it. And I kind of, like, there's both sides to it. On one hand, yes, I was being a crappy friend. But I wanted a good night. I wanted a good night with no tears because I suck in emotions. If I'm around someone really happy, I become really happy. If I'm around someone who's a bit anxious, I become anxious. If I'm around someone who's crying, it makes me sad. And I didn't want to be sad. She stopped talking to me for 2 months. We're friends now. We're fine now. But I do make a point of never going out with her for drinks. I don't do it anymore. I don't know. I think 50% of me was a crap friend, but the other 50% of me was in the right.